The bell has rung, class is in session. Until today, we have examined one by one the obstacles in front of weight loss that occur with the effect of our body's biological response. Now we are here to start that flow. Yes, we have seen our biology scientifically, but what exactly do these target in our body? We are taking these steps, but what does this purpose target? Metabolic flexibility, our cellular freedom. The practices we did in the past videos were to start this flow in our body. Now we all know that the weight loss process is not just about the dropping numbers on the scale, but gaining real health. It is now time to learn the flow in the depths of our cells. The human body cannot survive by being dependent on a single energy source. Inside our cells, many reactions in our mitochondria, which we call energy powerhouses, function flawlessly. We have two powerful energy sources. The first is glucose, which is a carbohydrate source, and the second is fatty acids. In a healthy human body, there is a fluid transition between these two sources, and in this way our biology chooses which fuel to use according to the season, the hour, the state of hunger, and mobility. The world of science measures this flow in a laboratory environment with a parameter. This is called the respiratory exchange ratio, or RER for short. RER is measured as follows. In a laboratory environment, a mask is placed on the face, and the amount of oxygen consumed while breathing in is ratioed to the amount of carbon dioxide produced while breathing out. If this ratio is close to the 1.0 point, we understand that at that moment the cells are burning entirely glucose. However, if the ratio drops to the 0.7 point, we see that the cells are burning entirely fat. Metabolic flexibility, on the other hand, is the body's ability to go back and forth between 0.7 and 1.0 in this RER ratio during the day, completely in its own natural flow without getting stuck on any obstacles. Just while sitting on the couch or doing a light walk or sleeping at night, a flexible metabolism drops to the 0.7 point and starts burning stored fats. While eating food or when you do an intense physical activity, it goes up without any difficulty and starts burning glucose. The body is such a mechanism that we do not feel it while it makes this transition. And the energy flow continues this way throughout the day. While our body functions so beautifully, a large majority of people in the world we live in right now are having difficulty losing weight and feel constantly tired. So, what is the reason for this? Metabolic rigidity. In other words, it is the body losing its ability to change fuel. Cells lose this ability by getting stuck in a single source. Our current lifestyle and ways of nutrition put a strain on our body. Constantly snacking and not taking the biological clock into consideration is a system of constantly imposing glucose on our body. The fatty acids, which are the energy powerhouse inside the cell, confuse and forget how to function and how to activate the chemical pathways in this case. Let's examine how metabolic rigidity integrates into our daily life without us realizing it. You got up in the morning and had breakfast, and the body switched to glucose mode. 2 hours after breakfast, the glucose level now starts to drop slowly. Right at this point, if you have metabolic rigidity, the crisis begins for you. Even though there is a fat store in the background of the body that will be enough for you, the cells cannot find the way leading to that store. And the body sees that the blood sugar is dropping, but because it cannot go to the backup store, it panics and sends you emergency signals. It says glucose is running out, I cannot find anything to burn, you must urgently consume sugary things, you must eat chocolate. And you can suddenly find yourself in the middle of that sweet craving. While this situation is happening, hand-foot tremors and a state of irritability are also a possible situation. That sweet craving, feeling of hunger, and exhaustion that feel unbearable while dieting are not because you are weak-willed, but stem from the disruption of that natural flow of your body. Actually, you are not suffering from nutrient hunger, but the body perceives it that way. In my previous videos, I had explained glucose, cortisol, and insulin to you a lot. Now is the time to complete the pieces of this puzzle. We had said that those rules and functioning are not for losing weight, but for our body to be able to function healthily. We know that our priority is protein to prevent glucose fluctuations. But why? Because as insulin in the blood rises, it is very difficult for cells to reach fat stores. The biochemical process here tells us this. Insulin is the most powerful hormone that keeps the door of fat cells locked. Constantly consuming carbohydrates and snacking during the day keeps the insulin level always up. A high insulin level means causing the body to be unable to drop to the fat burning level, that is, to the RER ratio of 0.7. Our goal is to lower the insulin level by balancing glucose. In this way, the cells see the fat stores and start to clean those pathways. When it comes to cortisol, we learned that one of the biggest enemies of cortisol is chronic stress. At a high cortisol level, the body panics, thinking it is in a big danger, and activates glucose, which is the emergency fuel. Taking the stores in the liver, it tries to hide the existing fats in the belly area. We had mentioned the stress belly before. It is because of this that a high cortisol level is one of the biggest enemies of metabolic flexibility. Stress is a big part of our lives, especially in this modern world. Learning to live with it and choosing to be able to manage it is in our hands, because stress keeps the body constantly under a defense mechanism, and we cannot bring cortisol into balance either. By providing that safe environment in the body, we must return the body to its natural flow. Let's come to dopamine. Let's see what its effect is here. We had learned that dopamine is a system of wanting fake and fast rewards. Not falling into a dopamine crisis is one of the most beautiful ways to beat the metabolic rigidity here. Because when you fall into that crisis here and reach for packaged food, you put a load on the body. And by putting a load on the mitochondria in the body, you make things difficult. Pausing for 15 seconds when the crisis comes, and recognizing that space will save you from a big load. Well, are we never going to eat these foods? Of course we will eat them. Our hearts may sometimes want this type of nutrients. Following the 80-20 rule without restricting ourselves will bring us the most beautiful nutrition routine. Let's come to the topic of circadian rhythm. Scientific studies show that people who experience circadian misalignment suffer great difficulties regarding metabolic flexibility, because the cells confuse which shift they are in and cannot perform the body's cleanup process, which we call autophagy. What had we said? Our body has a day shift and a night shift. Autophagy only functions during the night shift when the clocks are compatible with each other, and the RER level drops to 0.7 here. If you, in response to this, consume nutrients late at night and suppress melatonin by being exposed to blue light a lot, this balance gets completely confused. If you have noticed, nutrition is a whole. Eating habits, sleep, movement, mental health. All of these have an importance and a meaning. That 5 to 10 minutes of sunlight you take in the morning and the priority you give to protein in your diet are actually these things you do to win back that flow the cells have forgotten. This flexibility you provide to your metabolism again is the indicator that the flow has started in your body. Feeling this flexibility in every sense is a tremendous freedom. Because the suddenly coming fake hunger attacks and the sweet cravings where you question your willpower are now under your control. When you provide blood sugar balance, the body will quietly start to burn fat stores instead of panicking. And you will not feel anything. The fluctuations you used to experience will not happen. Because you know the existence of the flowing energy source in the body. Waking up from bed in the mornings does not feel difficult like before. On the contrary, you wake up more energetic and happy. Your cells begin to live by increasing your quality of life in a completely repaired way. Now, we are no longer slowing down the metabolism by constantly leaving ourselves hungry and counting calories. On the contrary, we fill every cell beautifully and possess a vivid body. In this way, losing weight stops being a reason for a fight with the body, because as you keep pace with its rhythm, you see that the rest flows on its own. We have now learned the truth. Losing weight permanently does not come from calorie restriction, but from learning and managing the body cell. Yes, today we have seen the big picture and realized that everything we learned is for the purpose of metabolic flexibility. Let's come to today's homework. Determine and notice that hour when your always coming sweet craving or sudden hunger attack arrives. When that moment comes, do not run to eat immediately. First, take a deep breath and start walking for 5 minutes in the environment you are in. Our goal here is to say to the cell, glucose is not coming right now, we are in motion, we need to open the door of the fat store. Test yourself whether the crisis will continue after the movement. And definitely do not forget to record the results and write them as a comment. Let's see if it is a real crisis or does the body need it physiologically. I am waiting for everyone in the comments who has taken one more step on the journey of self-discovery. Class dismissed, lesson over.